Thanks, Siobhan and Paul. So just formally, I'm delighted to welcome you all here to DIT in Grangegorman today. And as you can see, I mean, it's beautiful. It's going to be a beautiful campus when it's completed. I think the tradition is to say a few words about the school that's actually hosting the event, and so I'm going to be fairly brief, but just to say that we recently actually celebrated, well, we didn't celebrate it because we didn't realise it at the time, but we recently turned 50 years old as a School of Physics. In the 60s, the School of Physics was formed out of what was the School of Sciences in what was then the College of Technology in Kevin Street. And but it's been actually for us as a school, it's been a fairly amazing journey, because it started off where we give people the opportunity to do degrees that were issued by the Institute of Physics. But in due course, we became involved in delivering our own degree programs from DIT. And actually, it was only in the around about 2000 that we offered standalone physics degrees to entrants. Prior to that, we had offered physics was an option within an applied science degree. And thankfully, that has actually worked extremely well for us. And we now offer a range of physics degrees, one at level 7, 4 honours physics degree programs, and then awards right up to PhD. So, in fact, in 2014, the School of Physics and DIT took more students into physics degrees than any other institution in Ireland, which was something that we didn't realise until we went and kind of came across those statistics. So we have a very vibrant student body. I suppose one of the things is that our particular ethos is that we offer physics which is very applied, very closely related to the real world, really. And that's reflected in the programs that we offer. So physics with medical physics, for example, and bioengineering, physics with energy and environment, physics technology, science with nanotechnology. So all of those areas they're very real world. What we really want is that students, when they graduate, that there's somewhere for them to go, that there are jobs in industry that are relevant. And you'll see that all of those areas that we offer education in are, we also believe they're based on, we have expertise based on research, people who do actually research in those fields, and that underpins the education that we provide. And the research school has grown amazingly, actually, really, in terms of its research performance. 25 years ago, it was relatively small. Now it's very big. We would have more than 50 PhD students registered in the school now. We'd have 3 sort of recognised research centres, and would have been founding partners in 2 research institutes. So we've really transformed into a fully fledged School of Physics, really on par with schools of physics right across the country and elsewhere. And the speakers that speak today, this morning, following me, are going to give a flavour. They're people who are leading researchers in their fields, really, and they'll give a flavour of the sort of things that we do. One of the areas that is very important in physics nowadays is just interdisciplinarity, and so the interface between physics and the other scientific subjects. And this is an area that we have evolved into being very strong in that particular area. So a lot of our work takes place at that interface, especially between physics and biology. And so there's a very strong impact of physics on life sciences and health sciences aspect to what we do in the school. And in fact, so much so that we don't just teach physics. There's 2 other areas that have sort of grown out of physics. One is optometry and dispensing optics, which of course originated with optics. And so we're now Ireland's only provider, where we have been for a long time, of degrees in optometry, and more recently in dispensing optics. And also another area that's grown out now into a very substantial area within the school is originated with medical physics and physiological measurement, which has now become the profession of clinical measurement science or clinical physiology. So again, we will be the only provider of that education in Ireland, and it's a very vibrant area which we have a lot of students studying that area, and we're the unique providers in that. So it's so much, in fact, have we evolved into that interdisciplinary space that we've just in the last few months changed the name of our school from the School of Physics to the School of Physics and Clinical and Optometric Sciences, because it is, like, we are actually kind of unique in terms of, as a School of Physics, of what we do, and that title recognises the breadth of activity within our school. In terms of teaching, well, there's always been, I know, and somebody mentioned to me this morning that this physics at DIT has always been strong really in supporting secondary school teachers to the extent that we can, and somebody mentioned to me, which I remember some of the older staff talking about, even back to the 60s, DIT running courses during the summer for teachers and laboratory experiments for the Leaving Cert and so on, and there's a very long history of that. There's a huge interest within the school in terms of how to teach physics. So it's an area that's, of course, controversial, and because everybody has different opinions about it, and there's a lot of different pedagogies employed, from problem-based learning, pure instruction, traditional lecturing. There's a very strong emphasis we have on practical aspects of it, so a lot of laboratory practice, a lot of industrial placements, so all of our students would have significant industrial placements, and so on, because we feel that it is important to have that sort of practical focus. That's about the school. So I just want to finish up by thanking a few people for organising today. And first of all, I'd like to thank the Institute of Physics in Ireland, the education group of that, Sheila Gilheany. Siobhan Daly, in particular, I'd like to thank Siobhan, Assistant Head of School in our school, who is on the Institute of Physics education group and has been one of the major organisers for this event, and I know Siobhan's been working extremely hard on this over the past few months. I'd like to thank the Professional Development Service for Teachers, who are sponsors for this event. The Institute of Physics Teacher Network coordinators, and I know that they've played a very big role, and Siobhan has asked me in particular to mention Paul Nugent and David Keenahan in terms of organising today. I'd also like to thank our own student volunteers. There's a range of them who've helped out last night and have helped out today, will be helping out today. I just mentioned them by name: Keith Finn, Graham Buckley, Patrick Coyle, Sufyan Huma, Turlock O'Hara, Kudus Yusuf and Nathan Payne. So thanks very much. We're very proud of all of our students, and in fact, as we all know, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the fact that we had students to teach. That's the whole point. And on that point, actually, the last sort of group I'd like to thank are the teachers themselves, and thank you all for attending today, but also for, it's very clear that it's so important that our young people are enthused about, like, our discipline, and our discipline depends on us as a country continuing to enthuse our students about, at secondary school level, junior cycle and senior cycle, about physics as a subject and a discipline. And I think it's great to see that the numbers of the numbers of students who are doing physics for the Leaving Cert, which had been in decline, that decline are no longer in decline as a discipline at Leaving Cert level. And it's very clear to us who get students that students come in with a huge enthusiasm for the subject, and that's coming through their secondary school experience. So that is great. And just lastly, so I think it's about every 10 years that we host this, the different physics departments host this event. So the next time probably be in about 10 years, at which time we as the School of Physics actually should be here. So just over there's currently a vacant lot, which will be the central quad, DIT's new central quad, which I understand will be the largest building ever built in Ireland. And on the second floor of that building will be the new, that's where we'll be situated, with new laboratories and so on. So we look forward to that, and hopefully that's where maybe next time we'll actually host our event over there. Okay, so thanks very much.